Boys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another video, another episode of the Chelsea Goalpost podcast. Welcome back, boys. Welcome back. It's been a while, but now with the Premier League campaign for 2020-2021 done and dusted, congratulations, Manchester City. You're the well-deserved champions of England. Meanwhile, Chelsea managed to scrape top 4 thanks to Spurs. Thank you, Gareth Bale. Thank you, Harry Kane, very much. A lot of the transfer news has now been floating around in the air, and there's a lot to know about. There's a lot to find out, and everyone is talking about transfer news and rumors and what's true, what's not. It's a confusing time. Everybody's posting videos about it. There's a lot of information out there. Listen, my boys. If you guys are doing your shit, if you guys are on your purpose, if you guys are on your own shit, you should be working on that daily. You don't have time. You don't have the kind of time to watch 10, 12 videos just to find out some transfer news about your club. And so, this is where I come in. I will provide you guys with a weekly video, a weekly rundown of the latest transfer news that's floating around today in the world of football in 10 minutes flat. So we don't have any time to waste. Let's quickly dive into it. Right on. So the first, I think the most mind-blowing news that I've heard in a while, and this is probably one of the more controversial ones, especially for Chelsea fans. Eden Hazard wants to come back to Chelsea. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it? At Spanish television show El Chiringuito de Yugones, if I'm pronouncing, I hope I didn't butcher that name, but they claim the playmaker is looking to end his contract at Real Madrid, seeing as Real Madrid are keen on bringing in Kylian Mbappe from PSG, who is most likely going to take up that left wing position at Real Madrid that would render Eden Hazard as a bench warmer, and he does not want that. So his only option and his likely option is to make his return back at Stamford Bridge, where he knows he's loved and where he knows he's appreciated and where he knows he might get some game time. But is that really a good option for Chelsea? Is it really the Eden Hazard that we all know and love going to make his return back to the Bridge? I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. I think Eden Hazard is past his prime. His best days are definitely behind him. They're definitely behind him. He's not the kind of character to push himself to, like the way Ronaldo pushes himself. He's not the kind of character to work hard. He came in overweight for his first season at Real Madrid. He's not the kind of character to make sure he's in shape. He's got immense talent. Let's just be honest. But he doesn't really have the work ethic. He's a very chill kind of guy. He's not gonna put in that kind of work. So it just doesn't make sense for him to come back to the Bridge. It'll just be a little more for a liability for Chelsea to pay that kind of wages, as well as to find space and find the matches to play him. Speaking of players wanting to make their return to Chelsea, Eurosport is reporting that Willian is apparently ready to leave Arsenal and is looking at Chelsea to be his prime target. Obviously, Chelsea were very smart about the way they conducted themselves and conducted the deal with Willian, offering him just a 1-year deal, because Frank Lampard was at the helm of this club at that point of time. He wanted to give Willian a better deal and give him a 2-year deal. Willian refused and wanted a 3-year deal, and Arsenal offered that, and that's why he left. Now that he's only scored 1 goal in 37 appearances at Arsenal, he is ready to move on and try to make his return back and humble himself and return back to Stamford Bridge. But I think, like Hazard, his best days are behind him. I'm very grateful for what he's done for this club. With obviously one of the best players under Frank Lampard in his first season, one of the leaders in the squad and one of the most important talents. Super grateful for what he's done, but I think his time's up in top tier football. I think his best bet is to move to America and play with David Beckham there. Honestly, so that's just my opinion, guys. That's just me. Moving on. The next biggest news comes in from Germany, none other than Borussia Dortmund. Apparently, Dortmund want to sign Callum Hudson-Odoi on a loan spell for 2 years, for 2 seasons, in exchange for Jadon Sancho. That comes to me as a bit of a surprise because that is such a lose-lose situation for Dortmund. Dortmund have everything to lose here. They have arguably one of their best players in the squad right now, Jadon Sancho. Obviously, they're going to be losing out on one of their best players this season in the form of Jadon Sancho, and arguably one of their best talents. And if Callum Hudson-Odoi goes there on a loan spell, he'll eventually be returning back to Stamford Bridge after 2 years. So that's a win-win situation for Chelsea all the way. I don't understand how Dortmund could be looking at this as a win deal. But that's why I think that this deal might not happen. It might not go through unless there's a certain amount of money involved. Now this next player comes as no surprise. This is definitely one player that we all knew as Chelsea fans is going to leave in the summer. This player has been phased out since Thomas Tuchel has arrived in the club, and this player is none other than Tammy Abraham. He's been absolute class though. From start to finish, nothing but class with the way he's carried himself, the way he's supported his teammates. Absolute class, and any team that gets him will be lucky. Now, the team that stands out when it comes to signing Tammy Abraham is West Ham. However, David Moyes and the club have mentioned that they do not have the kind of money to pay for that price tag, which is about 40 to 45 million right now. With the current situation and the pandemic going on, it's very difficult for these clubs, especially in the mid-table teams, to have that kind of money to spend on strikers. I think 45 million to 50 million is probably the entire treasure chest for this summer for West Ham, and so spending it on one player is going to be not feasible and not profitable at all. So unless the price drops to about 25 to 30 million, they aren't considering. But given the fact that Tammy Abraham is probably pushing for a move, I think it might drop and he might leave either way. Moving on, another striker who might leave, Olivier Giroud, in this search for international football as well as Champions League football. Due to his lack of game time at Chelsea, he might look at different options elsewhere in different other countries, and the one that stands out the most is Italian giants AC Milan, who have now finally qualified for Champions League football, taking the rightful place as one of the top clubs in Italy. That's what they belong, man. That's where they belong, and rightfully so. They have a very good squad, a young squad, a very talented squad. Very, very lucky to have Olivier Giroud part of that squad to lead the line up front, along with Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's also, he's like 40 years old now. 40 years old. Insane. Speaking of AC Milan, Fikayo Tomori, looks like that deal is going to be done. It looks like AC Milan are very, very keen on making this deal happen, and they look like they're going to trigger it. Simon Johnson reports, why was Fikayo Tomori not named in the 33-man England squad today? It baffles me, so I've written a piece about it. I will also be talking about that very soon in another video, so stay tuned for that one. Also include update that barring a major last minute switch, his move from CFC to AC Milan will be made permanent this summer. I'm very upset that this is happening, obviously, because Fikayo Tomori is a very, very talented ball-playing centre-back and could have been a really good replacement for when Thiago Silva bounces. I was upset when he went on the loan move, in fact. I thought that he had many, many more games to play, and the way he was phased out of that first team under Frank Lampard was just didn't sit right with me, knowing the kind of talent that he has. Obviously now he's part of a really good defensive team in the form of AC Milan playing Champions League football next season. I want the best for him, and if that's what he wants, it's all on his it's the ball's in his court, and so it's his decision to make. If he wants to come back, I will gladly be happy to welcome him back at the bridge, and if he wants to stay, so be it. Moving on to another striker, another big name striker, and this news has pretty much broken the football world. The news that Harry Kane wants to leave Tottenham. Yeah, this news came out last week, and everybody was talking about it, every single buddy, and you can bet your bottom dollar that all the big clubs, especially in England, are looking at bringing this boy in. This man is an absolute sniper give him half a chance and he's gonna bury that. The fact that Chelsea have had so many issues putting the ball at the back of the net is motivation for them to go look for a traditional number 9, and who's the and Harry Kane is probably one of the best number 9s out there in the world today. ESPN reports that Chelsea are willing to offer Kepa Arrizabalaga and Tammy Abraham in a swap deal for Harry Kane. Now, whether this is going to happen, because Spurs and Chelsea are not the best partners and do not have the best of relationships. This seems like an unlikely option for Chelsea to bring him in, and this definitely will not sit well with the Spurs fans. So looks like an unlikely transfer, but this is football. You never know. And that's what makes these videos so much fun. And I hope you like this video. I try to keep it as concise as possible, as quick as possible, because I know you guys have to get back to your shit, get back to the grind. I want all my boys on their grind. If you like this kind of content, do not forget to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe down below. Hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload from me. I'll be back next week, same place, same time. See you boys there.